Like so much of the trade deadline last year obviously revolved around Marchand and that shock deal. Right before that, like minutes before that, was the Carlo deal. And it was like, oh no, Brandon Carlo gone. Oh, to Toronto? That's a bummer. And then I think as soon as we saw the return, it was like, all right, you got a first round pick for him.
Do you need a ride to the airport?
Yeah, I mean, seriously, Carlo's game was dipping big time by this point last year, and we were all like, oh, first round pick. Yeah, that's okay. That's too bad for him, but we'll take that. Oh, and a prospect with it. We knew Toronto didn't have a lot of prospects. They basically had two. That you were going to trade one of them here is crazy. Before we go into the details of that, vibe so far after another second round Toronto exit and a really good start for Fraser Minten being looks like one of the most dependable players out there for the Bruins. Have the Bruins fleece Toronto again?
If I had to say right now, I would say yes. If you look back at our history with Toronto, we have a great trade history with them. Rask for Raycroft, we won that one, I'd say. Kessel for Sagan and Dougie Hamilton. I'll give us the win for that one, even though we traded away both those young players.
Yeah, even though we didn't handle it well on the back end, it's still a win.
Yeah, I feel like that way. But, getting what we got for Carlo, I think, we saw Carlo play here for 7 years. He has a great locker room presence. I could tell all of his teammates love him. But on the ice, what did he do? He wasn't too physical. He didn't contribute offensively. And I think Leafs fans are kind of realizing that now. Like, hey, what's this guy doing out there besides skating? So, and also, when you look at the comments on the Leafs final score tweet, you see a lot of people ripping into Carlo now. It's tough playing in Toronto. I think their media is worse than ours, believe it or not. That's why I think that's one of the big reasons Marner said he went to Vegas.
Yeah.
And the Leafs probably were going all in last year. They knew Marner could possibly be leaving, which he did. They traded a first for Carlo. They traded a first for Loughton. And, I think they're paying the price for it now. They saw what happened on Saturday. And, that was just the perfect ending. I know when we were together, we were like, who scored the fifth goal? And it was Fraser Minten. That just capped it off when we were at the wedding. But,
and not even on an empty net too. Like that was just it was off a Leafs turnover, like a bad Leafs turnover, and Carlo's out of position. Fraser Minten scores. It's like it's so poetic, man. It's perfect.
But yeah, I'll chalk us up for the W right now, and the trade's not even complete yet. We'll see where that draft pick ends. Say it's the 20th pick in the draft, which is still good in a good draft. Is Sweeney gonna be around to draft that? Who knows? Probably. He's having a good start of the year so far. So we'll see. But, I don't know how you can make an argument for the Leafs winning that at this moment.
And honestly, I can't believe the Leafs brass didn't see this coming. Like they were going all in and they were looking for tough, physical, stay-at-home defensemen. They got Tanev and they got Brandon Carlo. And I'm like, Brandon Carlo does not fit that mold. Like he doesn't. At his best, he was a pretty dang good stay-at-home defenseman, right? But he was never physical. He was never playing the body the way he should have for a guy that size. He was never he was just never a prick out there. He needed to be with a prick all the time. And when he wasn't the last two seasons, you saw his influence really dip. And so I can't, maybe this is, you know what, Dan? Maybe this is the hidden benefit of this shitty NHL schedule that only has the Bruins playing the Leafs 3 times in a season and playing everybody in the league twice. Maybe that is the added benefit, is that the Leafs don't see him enough and they're like, oh yeah, 6'4", man, 6'3", he can lay the body out there. Let's go get Brandon Carlo. Let's mortgage our future for Brandon Carlo, man. It's gotta be an L for Toronto. It just has to be. But like you said it, we haven't even finished it yet. We're 4 weeks into Fraser Minten, and we're like, yeah, you know what? This might be a win. Like the kid's not going to put up 50 points or anything like that. He's going to be on a matchup line, but I genuinely think he has been how many times this year have you gone through a game and been like, man, Fraser Minten might have been our best player. Like Don Sweeney uses it as an insult. Like that's not that bad a thing. Like they're playing good structured hockey and he's got incredible hockey IQ for a kid who's 21. Like, did you see at the end of the Ottawa game in overtime last week, the line change that he made?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he makes it, he's going to enter the zone. He passes it back so that he can get off at one end of the bench and, well, get off the ice. Let's not get too crazy here. He can get off the ice at one end of the bench, and Pasternak can get on the ice at the other end of a bench, and it turns into a 2-on-1. Like it's a 2000 hockey IQ play. I think it was Michael Sullivan, the mailman, who put it out there on Twitter. And it's a genius play. And it's like, that's a 21-year-old making that play. When he first came to the Bruins, he could not go to Sullivan's Tap or West End Johnny's and buy a drink. Like now he's making that play and helping them win games. Like this dude is your best center prospect that's on a pro level contract right now. And to put him over Matthew Poitras even a couple months ago seemed crazy, but he's there.
He has a smart hockey IQ. He's been one of, like you said, most reliable players. You know, his ceiling, you know, he could be a 2C one day if he offensively ups his game a little bit. One thing I like to mention though is I feel like every game he has like a great opportunity to score, and it's just not going through right now. So I think his offensive numbers will go up a little bit. I think Leafs fans are like, oh, he has 6 points in 17 games. Like, why are you saying you won the Carlo trade? But he does a lot of things that aren't on the stat sheet, like you said. The shift change at the end of that game, you know, played a big role. That's not going to pop up in the stat sheet. You know, great line change one time.
+1.
But
plus
one.
GLC stat +1. I mean, that's just as good as Corsi, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, but, you know, you can't help but be excited as a Bruins fan to see what you've seen so far from him. You know, he's one of the young guys that you got from a trade last year, and it's already paying its dividends. So, yeah, chalk that up as a W for me on record.
Let's put it down. Dan Conlon, November the 11th, 2025. He's calling this a W. And when we draft Gavin McKenna with the Leafs pick, it's going to look like even more of a W, I'd have to say. If I'm the Leafs, I think there's two objectives for anyone coming in and running the Leafs. One is win the cup. Second is don't ever trade with the Bruins again. Like, I think we're in that zone. Just don't block any 617 number coming through, man. Like they can't. And this one, again, I don't want to belabor the point here, but like it did look like shaky from the start from the Toronto side of things of like because we watched Brandon Carlo play all the time and he was a fine play. He was closer to a third pair Adam McQuaid at that point in his career than he was to a Dennis Seidenberg, let's say, who was a very good defensive defenseman in his prime and could play up on the first pairing. He was not that anymore. So shout out to Brandon Carlo. Shout out to the Leafs. Keep trading with the Bruins. But if I were a Leafs fan, I would say let's block the caller ID.